والدعاء إلى الهدى والدلالة على الخير ابتغاء وجه الله ومرضاته وقربه وثوابه سبحانه وتعالى. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما يقربنا منك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for affording us with the second opportunity, alhamdulillah, to complete and fulfill our amana that we have taken from our teachers and so forth. So last week, alhamdulillah, just to recap, that we have covered the areas of visiting the sick and the adab of visiting the sick. And we mentioned that the sick, there are two categories of them. The first is the one that we are hoping and that we know that is going to get well again. And then the second category of the ill or the sick are those who are critically ill and those that we know that are lying on their deathbeds. So for the first one, the ones that we know that are going to become healthy again, it is mentioned to us that we should place a bit of fear, not to scare him, but a bit. So bring consciousness so that when he comes out of the state of sickness, of illness, that he takes an example and that he comes out of this knowing that he must better himself, his life, and try and attain more proximity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his beloved sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. So, and the second category, the one that is critically ill, it is said that we have to have a lot of adab when we go to them and that we should shorten our stay when we go visit them and make a dua for them. And then also to, when it is the preparation for the person that is lying on his deathbed, like Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, لَقِّنُوا مَوْتَاكُمْ شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله. So when they are lying on their deathbed, that you should encourage them to say لا إله إلا الله, لا إله إلا الله, لا إله إلا الله. And so this should be the last words that he is said on his tongue, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned to us, من كان آخر كلامه لا إله إلا الله دخل الجنة أو وجبت له الجنة. Two narrations, the one that says the last words that he says on his tongue before he leaves this dunya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it compulsory or obligatory for him to enter Jannah, insha'Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easier for us to say La ilaha illallah at this very moment. And we did mention also that one of the means of making it easy to say La ilaha illallah is that we accustom ourselves throughout our lives to using the siwak. So one of the benefits is that at your deathbed, that when you are using the siwak, like this was the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the last thing that he did was use the siwak. Sayyidina Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha moistened the siwak and placed it in his mouth, in his mubarak mouth, sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. So this is the sunnah. And one of the benefits that they mention is that when you use the siwak, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy for this individual to say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, the last moments of his life. And then we mentioned that the preparation for the mayyit is that at first, when his ruh is about to leave the body, or we know that it's just on his last, is to let the body lie on his right side. If it's not possible, then to lie on his left side. And if that is not possible due to whatever circumstances, then it is permissible and it is also recommended to lie the body facing the feet towards the qibla. And then first thing is when the ruh leaves the body is to first shut the eyes, because Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says to us, إِنَّ الْبَصَرَ يَتْبَعُ الرُّوحِ, that the sight of the mayyit, the eyes, follows the ruh wherever the ruh goes. So that's why it is recommended to close the eyes. After closing the eyes, and then we close the jaw, like we said, we should close the jaw so that the air doesn't go into the stomach, and to place a bit of weight on the stomach. It is mentioned in some of the fiqh books that they say just place a sword. At that time they still use swords and so forth. So place something like a blade, a knife, something little, and we mentioned that it's permissible. I mean, the weight that we are required is about the weight of a cell phone on the stomach. And to immediately thereafter to loosen all the limbs because one of the signs of death is that after about approximately 15 minutes, 20 minutes after the ruh has left and the body is turned cold, the limbs become stiff, and then it becomes kind of awkward and impossible to move the body, to work with the body. But the ulama also say that if it is that the limbs has become soft or hard already or stiff already, what you do is you could use oil, olive oil or something, use little oil, rub it in the limbs and start moving the limbs, inshallah. Because after the limbs has moved, it will not become stiff again. Thereafter, immediately, if it's permissible, if it is possible to remove the clothes, if not, then just snip it off and work with the body, like they said, work like with the body, like the body. There is a hadith where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it says that isna'u bimawtakum kama tasna'u bi'urusikum. Do and work with the dead like you would do with a bride or with a groom. Treat him like that. You beautify him and work very gentle with him and so forth. So, because it is mentioned that when the way you work with the body or your interaction with this body, this is the same way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will decree for people to interact with your body, with your body. And if it is that you're working in the best manner, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it so that people will work in a more beautiful manner with your body, inshaAllah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Removing the clothes. After removing clothes, we said that we have to now then, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad, after removing the clothes, and then we are at the point where we have to cover the body with a very, very thin sheet. That's the best. Not with a woolen or not with a blanket or anything, just with a sheet to close the body. And we also mentioned that it is permissible for the people to immediately recite Quran at all times from the time the ruh has left the body, or before the time the ruh has left the body, until the body has been placed in the ground. And then we said also that when the body is lying before the washing, is that's just to place the two hands on top of the stomach, and you can tie a little piece of cloth on the fingers to keep it up there, and the feet also. The feet with the big toes, just tie a little cloth around it so that it just stays up. And this is the position. It will stay up until the tukamani, like yourselves, inshallah, will come along and will prepare the body for the ghusl. Then we said the ghusl itself, okay, after all this has taken place, then it is then permissible to announce to the families, and what they do in Hadramaut and in Sham, as I recall, is after the ruh has left the body and the preparations, the body is laying on his na'ash on the table, they would go to the nearest mosque, or the nearest mosque, and they would announce on the mic to say that such and such, the son of such and such, or the daughter of such and such, has passed on, left this dunya to meet his Rabb sallallahu jalla wa ala. So then we can just call the families up and let them know, inshaAllah, for preparation for the ghusl and then for the salah. We said that the 4 fara'id for the mayyit, number 1 is the actual washing of the body. Number 2 is the shrouding of the body. Number 3 is the salah upon the individual. And the 4th one and final one is dafn, is to bury the body. Those are the 4 fara'id that is compulsory. And we said, when we say compulsory, we mean fardu kifaya. Means that it is a communal obligation. It is upon the individuals. So those who fulfill this duty, the responsibility falls away from the rest of the people. Good. So the washing, actually, now the washing takes place. There is different types of washing. Is the one when washing the body just once, complete, just filling the entire body with water. That is the fard, right? Just fard. And then there is 3, like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said when he spoke about his daughter. He mentioned to them that wash her thrice, or wash her 5 times, or wash her more than that. And use sidr in your wash, and in your last wash, and in وفي الآخرة كافورا أو شيئا من كافورا, or use little kafur, which is camphor, in your very last wash. So we said that it is 3. 1 is the compulsory, 3, 5, 7, or 9. The choice that was used in Tarim, in Hadramaut, they said they used the 5th one, the 7th, right, for 7 washes. But it was not the way that we explained it first. It is they've chosen a different way. So they said that the first 3 washes is the washes with sidr, all right? And we mentioned the sidr is the lot leaf. that is dried up and grinded and become. So we could also, in this circumstance, that we probably replace it with sabun, with soap, sunlight soap. All right. So we wash the body 3 with sidr, and then after the 3 with sidr, we use muzila, which is the cleaning. You just clean the body once, and that is just to take all the soap away. And then the 5th one, 6th and 7th one, the 5th one is just a clean again. The 6th one is the fard wash. The 6th one is the fard wash, which is the ghusl. And this is the time when you make the intention. نويت فرض الغسل على هذه الميت, upon this mayit. And then the final wash is the one where we throw in the water, we throw a little camphor in the water and mix it with the water, and we wash the body, the final wash, with camphor. We did mention that the preparation for this also, just to recap overall for those who was not here, so just to recap over this, is that for the initial preparation before the actual 7 washes is that you should first rinse the body once, so that all the najasa and everything that is on the body to become loose, if it is so. And then thereafter, the first wash is to take the body and place it up, so that we remove all the awsakh, all the dirt and all the najasa out of the stomach. Right? After that is done, we stinja, and we mentioned that it's preferable to use some sort of a cloth, rather than using plastic or latex. Latex is probably, okay, Allahu alam. So use some little cloth or something to do the istinja the way you do it with a person that is alive. And thereafter is to clean between the eyes with little pieces of cloth in the eyes, in all the grooves in the eyes, in the ears, in the nose, in the mouth, on the teeth. At this moment, we do not use the siwak. After the ruh has left the body, we do not use the siwak. Only use the siwak before the ruh has left the body. After the ruh has left the body, we do not use the siwak, just so that we do not cause any harm or hurt to the gums and so forth. And then to clean the mouth, inside the mouth, after the cleaning, the initial cleaning, then we rinse the body and everything is gone. Alhamdulillah, now the washes start. The washes, 3 sidr and 1 muzi, the 1 cleaning, and then the 2, you can say 2 cleaning, and then the ghusl, which is the fard ghusl, and then the final one is kafur. Okay, good. Obviously, before that is to loosen, when you start the washing, is to loosen that little ropes that little cloth that we tied on the fingers and the feet to keep it up. Okay, good. So now we go into the takfeen, right? Is the kafan, is the cloth, the shrouding of the body. And it is mentioned, right, that the shrouding of the body, there are different ways. For the male, it is 3 pieces of cloth, 3 pieces of cloth. And for the female, for the ladies, there are 5 pieces of cloth. And when they say 3 pieces of cloth, it is, now do we do this now? It is one piece that's like this, all right? This is 1 piece of cloth, 1 piece of cloth. So what they'll do is, let me just move this out of the way. Bismillah. What they do is they place the first piece of cloth down like that, all right? Let me just make this, we'll use another one. Bismillah. All right. And the second cloth will be placed on top of it like this. Yes. So the second cloth is a bit smaller. The first cloth is the big one. The second cloth is a bit smaller. And the third piece is smaller than that, just a bit smaller than that. Yeah. But what they do is, the tartib is that when we have the first cloth, we would lay it out on the floor, and we would have a mixture of, it's written in the book there, a mixture of hanut, like it's written in the hadith, Rasulullah ﷺ, and it's mentioned in the hadith hanut, and especially in the books of fiqh, they say hanut. And hanut is a mixture of 3 things. One is rose petals. It is dried up and crushed, rose petals. It should be on page 5 at the bottom of the page, number 3, right? It's a mixture of dry rose petals, dried rose petals, right? and they'll have the henna leaf, Jazakallah khair. Okay. The henna leaf is also dried up and placed inside. Bismillah. The henna leaf is dried up and crushed and also placed, so they'll have this little mixture. And the third one is pieces of camphor. So they'll crush, I know we get our camphor in blocks, in pieces of blocks. So we'll crush it up and have this mixture together. So this mixture is called hanut. After having this mixture, what we'll do is, they'll throw the first piece of cloth out, and they would sprinkle the hanut over the first piece of cloth. All right, Jazakallah khair. Zamzam, barakallah. Zamzam lima shuriba lahu. So they have the first piece of cloth with hanut placed over it, on top of it, sprinkled over it. And then they'll place the second piece of cloth, which is just a bit smaller than the first piece, and place it on top and sprinkle hanut again over it. Sprinkle hanut again. And then they'll have the final piece, which is the last piece of cloth, and they'll place it on top again with no hanut. The reason for this is so that we do not have anything harming the body. So the last piece of cloth has nothing on top of it. All right? And then what they would do is, after having this, there's a specific way how they roll it up, mashallah, is just to roll it up on both sides, roll it up till the middle. And like we mentioned, in order for us, when we're speaking about washing the body, we said that washing the body is start from the right side. So you start from the top of the head. From the top of the head, washing down to the neck. And then coming to the shoulders, keeping the hand up. And we said that you lift the hands very gently, keep it on the tips of the fingers, lift it up, and let the water flow down to the bottom till by the shoulders. All right? To the shoulders. And in the same way, we'll pour the water right down the body up until the feet. And raise the feet by its toes, raise it up very, very lightly, not high from the ground, so that we do not see the aura of the body. Remember that the aura must always be closed, completely closed. All right? And it's also, in some of the hadith, it's mentioned that you could wash the body in a qamis, meaning that in a thawb, in a very light thawb. So you raise the toes up, the feet up, and you would pour the water from the toes down, and it would flow down. So that's how you wash the body. So, and for flipping the body, we said that when you flip the body, is to have the feet out like this. So in order for us to flip the body to the right side, to the left side, we need to throw the right hand over to the left side and flip the right foot over this way like that. And then when this is done, you'll find that it's very easy to tilt the body. Very easy. So you just lift. So one person will keep at the ajiz, at the hip, and the other person keep at the shoulder whilst holding the head, and just flip the body very gently over, and then pour on the side. So this same manner, flipping the body, is that after these things are rolled up very, very gently, very nicely, you flip the body and you slip the one side in under, and when you flip the body over, you roll it out on the other side. I think everybody kind of, yes, it's yes, good, alhamdulillah. So that's how. And then when the body is lying on, ya Latif, here we go. This is what I'm doing here is exactly how Habib Mashhur did it with us. It's like this. He said, here's the mayyit. There's the mayyit. And remember that when we are busy with the mayyit still, his feet is towards the qibla. The inside of the feet is towards the qibla. All right? So now he's laying like this. This is how the mayyit is laying. So both sides is rolled out very nicely and very gently. We take before wrapping the body up, we will have some atar, and they will place a little atar on top of the forehead. And they will place atar inside the hands. Meaning that we will place atar on the 7 portions of the body that touches the ground in sujood. All right, the 7 portions of the body, which is hands, 2 hands, knees, all right, and feet, just below the toes, and on the forehead. And they say also, some of them just pull it down onto the nose because the nose also touches the ground. So this is the places where they place atar. And this hanut that they have, right, this hanut, they will take this hanut with pieces of cotton wool, and they will have broad pieces of cotton wool with cloth, and they will place the cotton wool with hanut inside. This mixture that we spoke about, they place the mixture inside, sprinkle it over, and they will place it over the hand and fasten it with cloth. So the hands obviously starting from the right side, the hands will be covered with piece of cotton wool and hanut inside the cotton wool with a little atar and tightened up with the cloth. And the same with the left hand. So they will place atar on with hanut on the cotton wool, place the cotton wool on top of it and tighten up and close it up with cloth. That too. Right. And they would do the same, very, very same thing for the knees. Place a little atar on, the cotton wool with hanut on, nice broad piece of cotton wool with hanut on, place it on top of the knee and tighten it up and close it up. And so forth. Under the feet also, under the toes, place a little atar here, put a piece of cotton wool with hanut on and close the feet and tighten it up. After this is done, they would place the feet together again, like we said at the beginning. They place the feet together again and tighten, just close a little string on so that the feet does not fall apart again like this. So it stays up. So it doesn't fall apart. So it stays up. And the same with the hands. You place it on top of each other because it's all tied up now. Place it on top of other and you just close it up. Keep it together. If it's possible, if you see the two thumbs open, just tie a little thing on the thumbs. Very gently, not hard. And just tie it up so the hands stays on top of the stomach or the chest, wherever it is. And one piece that we forgot at the very beginning stages, is that before you actually place the mayyit on the kafan, before you do that, is to have a nice big broad piece of cotton wool. Nice big broad piece of cotton wool. And they will lay it right in the middle. And this will serve almost like a diaper. So they would place it down there and place the back side of the mayyit on top of it. Right? And then cover the awrah with this cotton wool. Cover the awrah. So it's laying under and you just pull it through the middle and close the awrah up. And then thereafter you start doing the rest of them. After this is done, we would then, the mayyit is in there. After then, we will start wrapping the body up, and the first thing is to close from the left side, and then the right. So you close from the left. No, this is the left. This is the left. Ya Latif. Close like this, like the hands should be, like the hands in salah. Close like that, and then like that. So that's the first one. And then the second one. Close like that, and then like that. So forth. And the third one. You do it not all together. First close the first one, and then close the second one, and then close the third one. Right? Then that's the way they do it. After this is done, after this is completed, what they would do is that there are two manners, there are two ways that the wrapping of the body are done. The one is that how we do it, usually we do it in Cape Town, is that we have 5 pieces of short pieces of string, not string, cloth, cut up in portions of string. And the first piece is that we don't wrap it up yet, right? But the first one is for the top of the head, right? Because obviously the mayyit is inside the body, so there will be portions on the side, by the head and by the feet. There will be an extended part. So the first piece would be over the head, on top of the head. The second piece would be stringed up by the shoulders. It would tied up at the shoulders. The third part would be tied up at the hips of the mayyit, at the hip of the mayyit. The fourth one would then be tied at the knees, approximately the knees. And the final one would be below the feet, But we know that this is before the actual wrapping is, they do not close the face up yet. Because what we do is when we're doing the ziyarah, the family members want to see and still give their last wishes, then we do not close the face up, so you leave the face open, all right? But when you are closing, when you are going to close, they place another piece of hanut another piece of cotton wool, a broad piece, and they would place it, this is for the final part, which is the forehead. And they would place the final part over the face, and then they would cover it up then. Good. So, the second manner in which the tying could take place is that we have one very long piece of string, right? Or you could have a long piece of cloth where you just tie it up so it becomes long. And tie it up by the head first, right? Tie it up at the top of the head first. And then there is a technique in doing this is that, Allahu A'lam, subhanAllah, how do you do this? I cannot explain this. There's a way how you do it. You pull the string below the body, and you take the one side, you flip it over the body and hook it inside, and you pull it again. So it's very technical, I think. Yes, I think we'll do that with the prak, inshallah, so you can see how it is done. So in this way, you'll see that you'll be able to tie the body down, but with one piece of cloth. Tie it from the top right down. The reason for this is that when the body is placed into the qabr, it is easy, and the tying should not be done with a knot, so that it cannot be loosened. It should be done with like a bow, easy to loose again. So that when it's in the qabr, when you place it in the qabr, you just untie it again. Very easy to untie. So it opens up again. Okay? Good. So that's what we mentioned, right? The first, let's just go through that again. We said that the mayyit has three pieces, right? Three pieces. The first is the big broad piece, and then the medium piece, and then the small piece of cloth with the mayyit laying inside. And we said that we cover up all the areas for sujood with pieces of cotton wool tied up in hanut, placed over it. The hanut is the mixture of dried petals, dried henna leaves, and camphor mixed together, those three. And they'll have attar placed on those portions, tied it up. And then before placing the body on, to place a big piece of cotton wool at below the backside of the mayyit, so that it can be wrapped up, closed up, so that we have all the holes, all the manafid, all the holes closed up. Yes, good, alhamdulillah. When you are wrapping the body up, is also to take pieces of cotton wool, very small pieces of cotton wool, and to shove it into the nose, right? Shove it into the nose, shove it into the ears, and shove a small piece into the mouth. But before we shove it into the mouth, is to just flip the head again to the side, double check. Remember we said that water comes out later? So just flip the head again to the side and see if no water comes out. Just make sure, because we wash the body. So after washing the body, we need to make sure and verify that no water is inside the throat, still inside the mouth. So just flip it to the side and try and clean it out, and then stuff and shove all the holes closed. That's why the portion that we place under the backside of the mayyit is to basically cover those areas up. So we don't shove it we don't place cotton wool into it. We just place cotton into the ears, into the nose, and into the mouth. That's the wrapping of the body. And now it is also said that it is preferable after the body is washed and wrapped, done, to immediately get the sulaha, the salihin, get some of them, those who are around at that very moment, to immediately perform the salah. To immediately perform the salah on the mayyit. All right? That's one opinion, right? To perform the salah on the mayyit. Or just wait and prepare, and when we go into the mosque, is to leave obviously to place the mayyit in front of the masjid, and have the imam. And the person that leads the salah for this is the family member first, which is the father or the husband, understand, or the brother and so forth, those people that inherit from him. But the way they do things in Tarim is they would give the right, or they would request from the sheikh or from one of the sulaha, one of the salihin. They would request from them to lead the salah. When you have in the mosque, when we come into the mosque and the mayyit is in front, all right? So we have two, if the mayyit is a male or if the mayyit is a female. If the mayyit is a male, then the imam will stand, obviously the mayyit will lay with his right side towards the qibla. The right side towards the qibla. So his head will be, if it's in this mosque, the head will be here and the feet will be that side. Right? So the right side will be facing the Qibla. And the Imam, if this is the Mayyit, the Imam, if it's a man, the Imam would stand here, by the head. If it's a female, the Imam stands here, by the hip, if it is a lot of janazas, like a couple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever it is, you can make one salah for the entire. But what I've seen in Tarim is that they make individual. So we had a family, or it was a couple of people that came, and they performed the salah for the male first, and then for whoever the second male it was, and then they performed the salah for the female, and so forth, and the last for a kid, if it is a kid. We did not mention the washing of the bodies, right, with different people. Remember that this is just going back a bit, is that the washing and the salah and the takfeen and the burial is for everyone. But salah and washing does not take place for the shaheed, a person who died, a martyr, for him. For a youngster, for a child, you perform the salah and the ghusl also. But if it is a saqat, meaning that it is, what do you call this? No, not a breastfed, one who came out just before stillborn. Miscarriage, yes, miscarriage, or stillborn. It depends. The ulama differ upon this. It depends. So they say if it is before 6 months, then they do not perform the salah. If it is after 6 months, and there is a feature of the child, or there is some sort of life, all right? If you see life of a human being, and it comes down, then for this one you wash, shroud, and perform salah, all right? Before 6 months, they do not do that. That's upon difference of opinion. Some of them just do everything one time for everyone. Some of them also say that you do not need to perform salah on the mayyit, on the baby. The reason for that is because the salah is basically asking for maghfirah, for rahmah, asking for forgiveness for the mayyit. All right? But here I've seen Habib performing salah on a baby twice. I've seen him perform salah. The baby came into the masjid, into Dar Mustafa, and he performed the salah for the mayyit. So we take from what our teachers do, is that perform the salah for everyone, inshallah. Yes, that's it, inshallah. And then salah. Now, at the salah, right, the time of salah, time of salah could be done anytime, right? Anytime. Burial also could be done anytime. Just get it over. It's also preferable to get it done immediately, as quick as possible. But do not rush it, because sometimes we have family members that's a bit far, maybe in wherever it is, and they need to come closer, not like across the country. So it's going to take a bit long of time. But try and rush it, try and get it done as quick as possible. The salah consists, this is the fara'id. The fara'id of salah consists of 7 arkan. 7 arkan. Number 1 is that you must stand in istata'at, if you are able to. Stand if you are able to. Remember, the salah on the mayyit is fard, right? But not a fard ain, a fard that is compulsory upon every individual. It is a fard, a communal fard, so someone has to do it. So you do make the intention of fard as-salat ala hadhi al-mayyit, you understand, this person. The first one is standing. The second is to make the takbiratul ihram, the same as salah, takbiratul ihram. And it is also, it is advised that whenever we're dealing with anything, with the mayyit, with the salah, everything we do is try to fulfill all the sunan. Like in the ghusl, when we perform the wudu, I mentioned that after the first wash, you perform the wudu, right? We forgot that. After performing the wudu, when you do the wudu, you make the intention and you do all the du'as for the wudu. Like you're washing the body, you're washing the hands. Allahumma inni as'aluka al-yumn wal khair wal baraka. When you wash the mouth, Allahumma inni ala dhikrika wa shukrika. Or you say Allahumma inni ala kathrati tilawatik. When you wash the mouth, when you wash the nose, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min smelling the nar al-jahannam, and so forth. Washing the face, you say, Allahumma bayyid wajhi binurik yawma tabayyaddu wujuh wa la yawma alladhi taswaddu wujuh, like that. And then washing the hands also, Allah, give me the book in my right hand, do not give it in my left hand, do not cause me to be, so forth. Fulfill all the sunnah of the ibadah that we do. And the same with salah, is when you make the takbirat al-haram, is to raise it to the ears, right? Facing the feet, the hands a bit to the front. Allahu Akbar. That's the first one. After the first takbir, there's difference of opinions. Whether you make the tawajjuh, Allahu Akbar kabira, alhamdulillah kathira, wa subhanallah bukrata wa asila, wa jahd wa jahli alladhi fatara samawati wal. There's different opinions, but preferable, right? Awla is that usually the ulama, they agree that you do not make the tawajjuh. You say Allahu Akbar, a'udhu billahi min shaitan rajim, bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. That's the third rukun, is immediately to recite Fatiha. The third rukun is immediately to recite Fatiha. After you've completed the Fatiha, no surah, they say that then is the takbir again, Allahu Akbar. That's the second takbir. No going down or nothing, as we know, right? Second takbir, Allahu Akbar. Keep facing up. And now we make the salutations upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I remember Habib telling us that the least that you do for these arkan is just to say Allahu Akbar, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We complete the Surah Fatiha, Allahu Akbar, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. That's the least. Alright? But what is preferable here, Akmal, is the better one, is to do the complete Ibrahimiyya. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala Sayyidina Muhammad kama sallaita ala Sayyidina Ibrahim wa ala Sayyidina Ibrahim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad. But there's a little thing that Habib also mentioned, that he said that when you are placing the salutations upon Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, usually you say Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. But here is no salam upon Rasulullah, because in Tahiyya, in the Salah, you say Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabiyyu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So you place salam and salutations. But in the Salatul Janaazah, there's no salam. So he says that when you make the dua or this salutations, is to say Allahumma salli wa sallim. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala Sayyidina Muhammad kama sallaita ala Sayyidina Ibrahim wa ala Sayyidina Ibrahim. So you place both salutations and peace upon Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ala Sayyidina Muhammad kama sallaita ala Sayyidina Ibrahim wa ala Sayyidina Ibrahim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala Sayyidina Muhammad kama barakta ala Sayyidina Ibrahim wa ala Sayyidina Ibrahim fil alamin innaka Hamidum Majid. When that is done, and then again Allahu Akbar, that is your third takbir. At your third takbir, now we make a dua for the mayyit. The least that we can do, Allahumma ghfir lahu. The least, Allahumma ghfir lahu. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive him. Right? That's the least. And the complete is this mini dua. So you can choose. There's many du'as that you can make. Allahumma ghfir lahu warhamhu wa'afi wa'afu anhu wa'akrim nuzulahu wa sta'ma dakhala wa silu bil ma'i wa thalji wal bard wa naqihi min adh-dhunubi wal khataya kama yunqqa ath-thawb al-abyad min ad-danas. This is the dua, a complete dua. You can extend the dua as long as you want. Make dua for the mayyit. All right? And if it is a male, when we say Allahumma ghfir lahu, if it is a female, Allahumma ghfir laha. If it is a lot of people, Allahumma ghfir lahum. If it is two people, Allahumma ghfir lahuma warhamhuma. All right? Two people, three people, and so forth. Above two, it is obviously a lot, so you say hum. Allahumma ghfir lahum. After the dua upon the person is the fourth takbir. Allahu Akbar. And after this takbir, there's a final dua. The least is you do not need to say anything. Allahu Akbar. Then Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Alright? That's the least. But there is a dua also that you can say Allahumma la tahrimna ajrahu wa la taftinna ba'dahu. Right? To make that dua after the fourth takbir. But they say also that when you are in that takbir, you say Rabbana, make the dua Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhaban nar. Right? That's the final. And with this you end off your salah. Just that. Right? So Assalamu alaikum. Again, the ulama, they have difference of opinions. They say if you should say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So, assalamu alaikum, when you say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, you turn your face with wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. And you can also complete it, right? Say rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. But the barakatuh, what they do in Tarim is, they say Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. So they say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala, and barakatuh is very soft. Because there's difference of opinions whether you should say it or not. Right? So in Tarim, mashallah, they do everything. Just go to the max of all the sunnah, put everything in there. Allahu Akbar. So when you say the second one, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Okay, and there we are done. There's no need for us to do anything, but preferable, make dua. Make dua. Also, when at the time of salah, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions to us that this salah, right, if we perform three sufuf, this salah will be a means to forgive the mayyit from his sins. Right? And also in more narrations, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives you also. Right? So make three sufuf. If there is a lot of people, three sufuf. If not three, if there's a lot of people, then 5, and then 7, and then 9, and so forth. Right? And it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. If it's above 3, you can just carry on. Right? If there is a little people, like we only have 3 people or 4 people, right? And with the imam. So then just the imam, the next person, the next person, the next person. That's how you do it. That's 3 sufuf, right? That's what you can do. If there's 4 people, so the imam, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make 3 sufuf. That's the important thing. So that we can have this maghfirah and this rahmah be descended upon the mayyit. When that is done, yes, also Rasulullah ﷺ mentions to us in the hadith that the person who prepares, we mentioned this in at the beginning, in the first previous lesson, is that the person who prepares or the person that witnesses the janazah, and is with the janazah, and he walks behind the janazah, or he goes to the mosque and he performs salah with the janazah, and he goes towards the maqbara with the janazah, right? So the person that follows the janazah, he gets, like the hadith says, qirat with a ta, qirat. And the person who follows up and goes to the maqbara with the mayyit, he gets qiratan. And the qirat is basically, like the hadith explains, is a mountain bigger than Jabal Uhud, right? It's a mountain. So this is the amount of rewards that we get for following the mayyit. Then also, there's also some opinions where the people say, should you walk in front, should you walk at the back, whatever. Honestly, it does not really matter, because why there are narrations that says that they walked behind the mayyit, and Sayyidina Abu Bakr, Sayyidina Umar, Sayyidina Ali, and so forth, they walked in front of the mayyit. Right? So you walk in front of the mayyit, or you can walk behind the mayyit, no problem. But when you are walking with the mayyit, is to make dua. La ilaha illallah wahda, la sharika lah, la ilaha illallah wahda, la sharika lah. That is what it means. Or you make tasbih, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, you make tasbih, you make adhkar when you're walking with the mayyit. The preferable part to when you are walking with the mayyit is to have 5 people. 5 people. The one is on the front is 2, and the back is 2. In Cape Town, we do not have the 5th one, right? In Cape Town, we don't have the 5th one. But the 5th one, like we see in Tarim, subhanAllah, it would have been nice if I could show you guys, show the people a video of how they do it in Tarim, is that the na'ash, the top of the table, where they carry the mayyit in, has an extended part, looks like a rope. So that person, the 5th guy, he walks with that rope over his shoulders, and he's basically guiding. He's walking with the mayyit. So he's the guide. He walks in front with the guide. And he's the person that will be shouting out and calling out the tasbih and the takbir and la ilaha illallah and so forth. He will be making adhkar. So everybody walk with the mayyit towards the maqbara. Alhamdulillah. So we've completed, alhamdulillah, we've now then completed the visitation, the adab of visitation, the washing, the preparation of the body, the washing of the body, and then the salah, all right? And we did mention also, just to recap again, just to remember that with the actual preparation is the first is when the body is lying on its right side, all right, facing the qibla. The second one, when it's washing time, the body is facing the qibla with the feet and for shrouding. And then when it comes to the mosque again, then the body is lying on its right side again, right, facing the qibla. And now when we go to the maqbara, we go and we place the, what do you call this thing? A cattle, right? They call it a cattle. Yeah. What's it in English? A beer, yes. So they place the beer, yes, at when you come into the maqbara. The hole, first of all, there are requirements for the hole, obviously, is that the first thing is for the hole to be deep enough to keep away the stench of a decaying body. It should be deep enough to keep away the stench. The reason why they said this, the second thing is to keep away any types of animal that would dig out the body again. Any animals, right? So those are the two reasons why they make the qabr deep. And it is explained that qama means that what the length of an ordinary body, and one hand, like that. That's the depth of a qabr, the depth of the qabr. And obviously the length approximately 2 meters, right? Just above 2 meters, the length of a body. So it's qama wa basta. It means the length of a body and one hand out like this, one hand out. That's the depth of a body of the qabr. The qabr has two types. There are two types of qabr. So we have to look first at the type of ground. Right? First we look at the type of ground. I don't know what type of ground we have in the different maqabir here, but you have hard soil, or maybe rock, or whatever, and you have soft, moist, or soft soil. So if it is soft soil, then what they do is the qabr, right, would be the hole, and then right in the middle of the qabr, they will just dig a little trench, a small little trench, and that would be for the body to lie in. They would lie the body in there, and they would place the planks on top of it like that, and shut it up like that. That is for soft soil, when we're in places of soft soil. Where we are in places of hard, firm ground, then that's called shaq. The preferable one, Rasulullah ﷺ was buried in lahad, right? Lahad. The lahad is, this is the qibla, So the qabr would be like this. So the lahad, at this side's wall of the qabr, will dig a small little hole in the corner, a small little groove into the corner, this way. So this little groove, because why? It won't tip, it won't fall down, because the soil is hard. All right? So this is the reason why they make a little groove into the bottom of the qabr, at the bottom, and this is called lahad, and they will place the body in there. They will place the body in there, and then shut it down with planks, like this. But I've seen in Cape Town, they do not make the hole, right? They do not do lahad. I don't think so. Do they? Occasionally, perhaps, yes.
If you do it that way, then would your body still be laying flat or on its right side?
The body would be lying on its right side. But we'll explain it now, inshallah. What they do is they just dig the ordinary hole. As far as I recall, they dig the ordinary hole, and they would just place the body into the corner with the planks so covering up like that. That's how we do it in Cape Town. It's obviously, if you want to, you understand, obviously, somebody that is in love with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you are in love with him, you want to do more of things that he did, or things that he advised, or things that occurred with him. So the lahad is probably preferable here, but hard soil first. We must double check the hard soil. It must be hard soil. So then they place him. The body now you would place the body into this little groove, and you'll just put something under the back of the body, so the body would be tilted up a bit. So it's lying, tilted up a bit, facing the qibla. Right? So you have to place something under the body. So what they do is they place little, in Tarim they have this thing called laban. It is a brick, right, made of mud. It's brick made of mud. So they would place it in there and let the body lie up a bit, all right? So the body faces the qibla. But before we get there, we're speaking about the hole, right? This is the hole. So they would bring the cattle or the bear in, and they would place it at the foot side of the qabr. So, right, this is the qabr, right? This is the qabr, and the head is that side, and this is the feet this side. So they would bring the bear in and put it here. Put it here. This is the way they do it in Tarim. They would put it here. and they would remove the body, 4 people the side, they would remove the body and carry it over to the other side. They would carry it over to the other side. And they would slide the body down, feet first. From the head side of the qabr, they would slide the feet in like this, into the qabr. So the head stays up. And they would slide it into the qabr and then place the head down. Like that. That's how they do it, right? And remember that we also, then again, we're covering the qabr also. We're still covering the qabr, and we're having people like the salihin and family members, close family members, we're having them in there. Like if it is a husband, so he'll be in there, right? Not wife, because women at burial time, don't find women really around. You'll have this covered, and that's the way they do things. They will have the beer this side, like again, we'll have the beer at the foot of the qabr, and they will carry the body over to the head side of the qabr and slide it in with feet first. And that's why you'll see at the head side of the mayyit, when they wrap him up, it's a bit long. So that is to keep the body. So when we're going down, keeping the body, is going into the grave. This is the time when we're actually going to now, just before closing, sealing everything up. The body is inside the grave, and now we are lying it on its right side, with its right side facing the Qibla, the face facing the Qibla. This is the moment where we actually loosen the cloth again now. So we loosen it so it becomes untied. It's untied. So what they do is they remove, because it's wrapped in such a way, right? Like left to right first, right? They wrap it up. So they remove the right side cheek, open it up, and place it on top of the soil. Place it on top of the soil. So they would do one of two things. They would make a little mountain of soil and place the cheek on top of it, or they will take that labina, this brick that made of mud and sand and straw, right? And they place it there as a cushion. It's not permissible to use cushions, right? No cushions, no coffins and stuff like that. If the soil is very soft, then yes, you can use a box to just, support the sides. Yes, no problem. So they place it in there and place the face on the floor, on the ground, because that is where we're returning, right? Allahu Akbar. So then we'll have someone coming down into the qabr, and he will call out the adhan. The way you came into life, right? Into this dunya, how you came in, is that they call the adhan in your right ear, and the adhan and the qama in the left ear, and this is the same way. We'll have a member in there calling out the adhan, and then calling out the iqama, and this is just to show that the way you came into this dunya, this is the way you leave this dunya, right? And then before everyone comes out of the qabr, is to also do the talqeen, is to inform him. And inshallah, perhaps what we could do is, we could make the talqeen available, inshallah. Just print it out and give the talqeen to everyone, inshallah, okay? Note, we give the talqeen. So the talqeen takes place where they will call it out to the mayyit at that time, just to inform him, to inform the mayyit that this is the time when Malik al-Maut, and so when Munkar and Nakir, and they're coming, they're going to question you. Prepare yourself, be steadfast, and so forth. Say Man Rabbuk, say Allah is my Rabb, say Muhammad is the messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and so forth. All right, to remind him, because remember that the mayyit does hear. The mayyit does hear. Right? Habib mentioned that the ruh has a relation with every single portion of the body, right? So the ruh is not in dunya. The ruh is in alam al-barzakh. Is in barzakh, but it senses and it knows everything that is happening to the body. So you have to deal with the body the way you would want to be dealt with in your life. And we know that the mayyit hears everything. That's why Rasulullah mentioned, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in a hadith, that the mayyit will hear the footsteps of those people going from the grave, and it only starts, the questioning starts after the last person has left the maqbara. So after that is complete, they would lay the planks down again and make a little paste, a little mixture of water and sand, what it become muddy, right? And they would close up the grooves of the planks, close up the grooves, so that it becomes almost like a home. So no sand goes in and fills up the space where the mayyit is in. and then they will start closing, throwing the sand in. Everyone will throw the sand in. The family members will throw a little sand in, and then so forth, and cover the entire thing up. And then they will also do the talqeen again and make the adhkar and so forth, reciting the salutation, reciting Quran. Habib mentioned that it is required for us to recite Quran right up until the person is buried, and after the person is buried also you can still recite the khatam. What they do is in Tarim, after the person has been buried, that night that the person was buried, everyone would come to the maqbara and recite the khatam for the person, and present the rewards, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give the rewards of this khatam to the mayyit. They would recite, that's the last khatam they would recite for the mayyit at his maqbara. After that is done, people would then return, and then the ta'ziyah starts, which is the condolences we show your condolences. And this is, there's two opinions. One is that the ulama say, the first is that the ta'ziyah, which is to show your condolences, right, to the family members, starts with death. That's the one. Starts with death. The moment it's died, then the ta'ziyah starts. 3 days. Not more than that. 3 days. The second opinion is that the ta'ziyah starts after burial. After burial. So the moment the maid has been buried, then the ta'ziyah starts, 3 days from then. So you go to the families and you'll say, obviously when we hear whatever we hear the bad news first, or not bad news, good news. We say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Not good news as in, alhamdulillah is dead. No. Good news because he's going to his Rabb, alhamdulillah. You understand? Because why? Obviously those people are in a better state than us. They're in a better place than us. Say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And when you are going to show your condolences to the members, family members, if it is a Muslim that has passed on, and you're going to greet or going to see a Muslim member, then you say, أعظم الله أجرك وأحسن عزاءك وغفر لميتك, like that. May Allah increase your rewards and quantify and magnify your rewards, and ease this condolences, make your affairs all easy for you, and forgive your mayyit, and forgive the dead, the one who's passed on. All right? If it is that you are going, you're going to see a Muslim for a kafir that has passed on, you say, أعظم الله أجرك وأحسن عزاءك. That's it. You stop there. The two du'as only. Because you're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to increase his rewards and make it easy, his affairs for him, but you don't ask forgiveness for the mayyit. Because why? He's died out of the fold of Islam, right? And then the last one is if you're going to greet a kafir, right? For a kafir, right? Is it kafir? No, it's a kafir for a Muslim. Then you don't say, أعظم الله أجرك, may Allah increase your rewards. You just say, أحسن عزاءك, may Allah ease your affairs, أحسن عزاك, وغفر لميت, and forgive your mayyit, the one that has passed on. With that, alhamdulillah, let me just see, I think, alhamdulillah, we have concluded, mashallah. And last week we also concluded approximately this time. Now we will leave it open for some questions, bi'idhnillah, inshallah, so we can be done as half past, bi'idhnillah. Is there any questions today? Bismillah.
As what I said, if the mayyit is now completely also in everything, then obviously he lies with his feet in the direction of the Qibla. But now our women folk, when it comes to Salat and Janaazah, they don't accompany us to the mosque, obviously. So how do they perform this, especially now if it's daughters or their father that has maybe passed away? How do we manage that inside the house? Do we then turn the mayyit so that they can also perform Salat and Janaazah while the body is still there?
Okay, the question was that when the mayyit is lying on its back with the feet facing the Qibla, right? We have the daughters in the house and the women folk, they want to perform Salah on the mayyit. And how do we do? Do we tilt the body? Do we tilt the body into its side?
Turn the body because obviously someone that is leading the Janaazah, like in the mosque, the body is facing the Qibla, that with his feet, but
Yes.
his whole right hand.
Okay.
So do they turn it and make the Salat and Janaazah there, or how do we?
We would say for the women folk that want to perform Salah, Janaazah upon the mayyit, right? is that when the mayyit, after the salah has been performed by the males in the house, if it is so, if not, when the mayyit leaves the house, then the women folk can perform the salah, because the salah is only permitted after the washing. Before washing, you cannot perform salah. It's not going to be permitted. It's not going to be accepted, right? So when the women folk perform salah, first thing is that there is no imam for janazah salah for the woman. There's no imam. So they perform it individually. They can just perform the salah, no problem. All right? That is obviously when the maid has left the house. If it is that the maid is still in the house, all right, it is not a problem. It is not required for them to stand behind the maid. It's not required. Although that when Imam Shafi radiallahu ta'ala anhu passed on, they obviously passed by his teacher's house, was Nafisa, and they passed by his house, and as he was passing by, she performed the salah upon him. So yes, the woman folk can make the salah in the house, no problem. It's not necessary to do any movements. But if the man was going to make salah, then the body has turned already. Because the imam, we need the imam for the males, right?
Maybe I put the question on. Say for instance, the father has passed away,
Yes.
and the daughters want to make the salah to Janaazah while he is still there.
While he's still there.
Yeah, because like the males or brothers or so, they will make the salah to Janaazah in the presence of the father. If the daughters want that same honor to make the salah to Janaazah while the father is still there, instead of having to wait for the man to leave first.
There's no harm in turning the body. Absolutely no harm, inshallah, in turning the body. So that the people, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he passed on, people came in groups into the room. They couldn't do it all together. So they came in groups to perform salah. So the first group would perform salah, then they would leave. Then the second group would come and perform salah, then they would leave. So in the same way, if you want to perform salah in the house, you're obviously going to turn it so that you perform in Qibla direction. Then the people would perform, the woman can stand, the daughters, the wives, whoever. There's no jama'at though, but they can perform the salah, no problem. With obviously not the jama'ah with the males now. Okay. The second, yes, some questions. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Okay. Okay, the first question here is for a miscarriage child, right? Can you perform salah in jama'ah at home? Can you perform? I think we just answered that one now. Right? Is it permissible? Yes, you can, no problem. You can. If it is only, there's no males around, we do not have a single male around, and only ladies, only females, then there is no problem. The females can perform the salah for the mayyit, the actual salah for the mayyit, no problem. The females can perform it as the fardu kifaya for him. Jama'ah salah, I personally I haven't come across a jama'ah salah for females, for the janazah, okay? But they can do it individually, no problem. Go through female shrouding. Female shrouding, yes, we did that because female shrouding is just one thing different. Only one thing. That the female shrouding is she has two pieces extra, which is a izar. It is a lungi, type of a lungi that they will throw and cover up. This is from the bottom down, right? And for the top of the body it's called it's like a shirt. But what happens is it looks like this, right? Yes, it's a piece of cloth like this, and all they do is fold it over like this, with a slit in here. I think some women do wear things like this. So it's just a slit in here. So what they do is they'll roll this portion up here very nicely, so it's rolled up till there, and they'll slip it onto the body, and then put the head over it and roll it down again. That's it. That's the only difference between. Is it permissible? Okay, just while we're at that, is it permissible to put for the woman, she puts on the scarf, close up the head, everything, right? For males, Rasulullah ﷺ was not buried in a turban, but it is no problem. You can, if you want, right? Rasulullah was not buried in a turban, but you can put it on for him, no problem, inshallah, for a person. Clarify the depth of the grave. Yes, the depth of the grave should be, there's two conditions to the depth of the grave. The two conditions is, the first condition is that it must keep the stench away of deceased body, of a decaying body. Right? Flesh that is decaying, it has a stench. So it must be deep enough to keep that stench away. And that depth is supposed to be like the length of an ordinary body, with his hand put out like this. We call it qama wa basta. That's what we call it. So the length of a body, like a man standing and his hands out like this. So the top of the grave would be there. That's the length. Hey? They don't go as deep in Cape Town.
No, but here, it's normally like the thing is 6 feet, I think it's correct, 6 feet. But if you have to be measurement, it's going to be very high.
No, not my measurement. I'm a bit tall, yes. But I'm sure the ordinary size, you said, right? The average, it's approximately 2 meters and a bit, 2 meters and 200. No, Ya Latif. Shoulder height, subhanallah. Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay, that's required. That's in the books, and that's what the ulama says, and so forth. I'm just conveying like our teachers gave it to me. And this is the way they do things in Hadramaut. And that's why this whole thing is based on how things are done in Hadramaut and how they have taught it to us. So they say qama wa basta, so inshallah it's like that. If not, and it is, it's smaller than that, and it keeps away the smell, no problem. No problem. If it keeps away the smell, no problem. If it is also that animals or whatever digs holes and they cannot reach the body for that height, then no problem. Shouldn't be a problem. Okay? Because there are animals that actually, they go deep. They go deep. So if it is like a half a meter or 1 meter, they're going to reach it and the smell is going to come out. So that's the reason why they say just be safe and make it deep enough. That's clarifying the depth of the grave. So when you are making ghusl, do you throw the water over the cloth covering the aura? The water is poured in so a manner, the cloth lays over the body. This is the cloth laying over the body. So they'll keep the cloth and they'll have the water under. In Tarim, what we had is we had beakers, jars, pouring. SubhanAllah, it would have been, maybe, if we had time next week, inshallah, I will actually play the actual video of our lesson, our practical, that we did with Habib. And they will show you how they did it. So we have beakers, they will take the biggest, two drums of water. The large drum is so that we do not have any spilling and anything making that water dirty. So we'll have water scooped out into the small drum that we'll be using around. So you'll have this water scooped out and we'll be pouring it over under the cloth. But the eyes is not on the body. You won't see the body. All right? If it is that you are bathing, washing the body in a qamis, which is in a thawb or something, then you wash over. You throw the water, you can throw it over, but it must be thin cloth over the water, but it must be so that after, when you are busy washing, that the najasa will be taken away, not stay in the clothes. All right? And also, remember that we said that the final wash, after the final wash is done, just to keep this beautiful smell on the body, is to bring this guy. To bring him and place it under the mayyit. So that when you have the cloth, you throw the cloth over the body and you have the bukhur. It's done. You have the bukhur, smoke going into and mixing with the body. So when the body dries up, the smell stays. The beautiful fragrance stays with the body. So it dries up with the body. Does that answer the questions? Okay, good, inshallah. Covering the body, alright. Yes, no question. Is there no other questions, inshallah? Okay, khair, then I think next week we can just make the talqeen available, inshallah. This work is a fard kifaya. Someone has to do this in order that we all do not get punished. Someone has to do it. Yes.
With regards to the burial and the grave, we in Cape Town, making reference how we do it in Cape Town.
Yes.
Take the body head first into the
Head first. Okay, no problem.
okay. Then once the body is placed on its side, okay, you loosen the shrouding, okay. But we don't
Open the face. Okay.
don't place it on this way.
That's not a problem, inshallah.
We don't perform the adhan inside the cover. The talqeen gets performed
After.
the body is placed in the and closing up all of that where the arwah,
Yes.
okay. And now everything is closed up, flowers etc. And then the imam whoever will go after the head, and then he will perform the talqeen. But now everything is closed.
Closed up,
There's
yes.
no adhan, there's
Okay.
no Tama, there's no talqeen inside.
Okay. Okay, no, that's
The opening of the
it's not the.
there's a few differences.
Yes. You found, alhamdulillah. That's not a problem, because when you read through the books of the fuqaha, right, through the books of the jurists, you will see many differences of opinions, many opinions. The one would say that you put the head in first, the other would say you put your feet in first, the other say you must stand on the left side, you must stand on the right side, and there's a lot of different opinions. But what they've done in Tareem is they've chosen a specific way that they found that this is the beautiful way, and that's how they stuck with it. And this is the same way that they've given over to us. And up until today, this very way is being taught widely to everyone. And Habib Mashhur, he is the one that oversees these lessons. Everything goes through him.
Yeah, you see, like you put it over before the adhan and they come as they come into this world. That is how you do it.
Yes.
It's beautiful. But you don't do it that in the world.
So inshallah, what Buddha was saying now that that the things that we've just mentioned now is not the way things are being done in Cape Town. Not the way things are being done in Cape Town. So in Cape Town, they do not have the talqeen inside the qabr, they do not have the adhan inside the qabr, and they do not have the putting the feet in first, they have the head placing in first. And also there we had mention of the qabr being a different height. So these things, as we did mention now, that these things are all differences of opinions between ulama and the people of Hadramaut. They have chosen a specific way that is, they found this to be the beautiful manner in how you should interact with the body and how you should do the beard and so forth. And this is what they stuck with, and this is what they've given over to us. It's beautiful. It feels beautiful.
So admirable, it's something so different that you're teaching us, and I wish like maybe you can do a session. I think normally the ladies stand, if the Janaazah, then we stand upstairs for the Janaazah. Maybe like for this class, perform like, just show us how it's done, you know?
Next week, inshallah, we will be doing the practical, inshallah.
Tell me something, Sheikh.
Everything, we'll do the washing and the salah and everything will be next week, inshallah.
Going in the cupboard, like, I don't know if it's common everywhere, but in Cape Town, I know they're going to with the shoes, correct me if I'm wrong, when they put in the body, they go with shoes into the cupboard.
Yes.
What's your take on that? Because in Durban, they go with socks, you know?
Yes.
I just need to know what is the take on that?
That's good, mashallah. The auntie just mentioned now that, in Cape Town, we go into the qabr with our shoes. And you walk in the qabristan with our shoes. In Tareem, and everybody who has visited Tareem, they would know that when you come by the doors of the maqbara, your shoes are removed. So we walk barefoot into the entire maqbara. Barefoot. So there's no shoes in there. And this is the amount and the extent of adab that they have with the people. Right? And even it's also mentioned that the grave is permissible to dig out the grave again after a few years. Because in Cape Town, I don't know how many years it is. We have 10 years in Cape Town? 10 to 15 years. In Yemen, we have 50 years. Because the ground is like that. It takes a long time for the body to decay. Completely decay. To such extent that some maqbara, some maqabir, there are up to 100 people buried in the same maqbara. But obviously after 50 years, they open it up and put some. And many of the maqbaras, we've seen over and over, that you dig it up after 50 to 60 years, the person is still there. Exactly the same like he was. They cannot move him. They have to just close it up again. 60 years later, open it up again, he's there. Still there. And his tombstone stays the same. It shows the life that you had. right? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions that the earth becomes haram to eat the bodies of the shuhada and the bodies of the anbiya. So, these people, it depends on your life. That's why Habib said, he says in a beautiful poem, Al-mawtu babun wa kullu nasi ta'khiluhu. That maut, death, is a door. And every single individual, 100%, you have to enter that door. Right? وَيَا لَيْتَ شِعْرِي يَا لَيْتَ شِعْرِي بَعْدَ الْمَوْتِ مَا الدَّارُ. He says that I swear by you, after death, what is your place? What is your home? يَا لَيْتَ شِعْرِي بَعْدَ الْمَوْتِ مَا الدَّارُ الدَّارُ دَارُ نَعِيمٍ إِنْ عَمِلْتَ لِمَا يُرْضَى لَهُ. He says, the dar, the home, is a home of bliss if you do what is pleasing and what is required to attain that home. What is pleasing, right? فَانْظُرْ إِلَى نَفْسِكَ and فَإِنْ خَالَطَ فَالنَّارُ. So if you do not do and fulfill your duties, then you're going to see nar, fire. فَانْظُرْ إِلَى نَفْسِكَ, that's the end of it. He says, فَانْظُرْ إِلَى نَفْسِكَ أَيُّ الدَّارُ تَخْتَارُ. So look at yourself and look at yourself closely. Which home do you choose? This can be a home of everlasting bliss. That's why in the dua we says that, oh Allah must grant us the house, this qabr to be روضة من رياض الجنان ولا تجعله حفرة من حفر النيران. Make it a garden of paradise, a place of bliss, and do not cause this place to be a place of fire and torment and harm and hurt and torture. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for us to grant us a place of bliss, everlasting bliss, inshallah. Is there any more questions? Bismillah. Bismillah. Faddal.
These guidelines they are very close to the Sunnah, correct?
Yes, definitely. Everything is part of the Sunnah.
Because to the Cape Town way of doing, there's not much difference. It's small things.
Small things.
That's just
Everything is Sunnah.
Yes.
Yes.
So the way it came about Islam to Cape Town was via
Islam came from these people, so yeah, we might as well just follow them. Do it like they do it. And most of the countries in the world, subhanAllah, Islam came from them. Tarim was, Allahu Akbar. Hadramaut was the manba' al-ilm. It is the fountain or the place, the birth, the origin of ulum for many places. All right? Like we have Malaysia and Indonesia and Cape Town and many places in South Africa. The ulum, the ilm and the sharia and Islam came from them to us. Okay. Yes, Auntie? Yes. In Tarim, the way things are done is that at the final moments, just before the mayyit comes out of the house, the people that goes into the room of the mayyit itself, where the mayyit is laying, is only, if it's a lady, if it's a female, only family members. Only family members. All non-mahram is outside the house and they're sitting in front of the house on big, carpets and stuff, reciting Quran, sitting there. It is permissible for him to, but it's preferable not, if it's a non-mahram. Yes, that's for males, and that's for females. And for males, no problem. Males, just go in, bismillah, no problem. Any other questions? Announcement. Okay. Nice. We're done? Okay. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وشفيعنا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم أخرج من قلوبنا كل قدر للدنيا وكل محل للخلق يميل بنا إلى معصيتك أو يشغلنا عن طاعتك يحول بيننا وبين التحكم بمعرفتك الخاصة.